Greetings, 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 everyone. So good to be with you this morning. I'm just happy to be here. And let's see if this is going to work today. Okay. So, anyway, my name is Leslie Montgomery, and you are tuned into LKM Kingdom Living, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And in the process, we talk about so many different things. We talk about relationships. We talk about mental health. And matter of fact, we have a show, not a show, but a broadcast coming up on mental health on June 1st at 5 a.m. We talk about faith. We talk about personal growth. Each episode, we come on with things that we have experienced, things that we have gone through. And today, we're going to be talking about finding your confidence within once you find your love, how to love yourself. And I'm in the wrong place. So, greetings to everyone. Good morning to some, good afternoon to some, and good evening to some, wherever you're listening from. Thank you so much for being here today. Minister Wanda won't be joining us today, but I will carry on without her today. So she will be missed, I promise you. So as we get started, I always have to start with my mirror, and with me to start with my mirror, when I look in my mirror, I see grace, I see peace, and I see someone that has been working on themselves to have a better life. Yeah, there was a time when I used to look in the mirror and be so sad, be broken because of maybe something I did or maybe something I was going through. So in the process of that, I would always find myself sad. I would always find myself feeling lonely and feeling like there nobody cares. So I had to begin to realize that the problem wasn't the people. The problem was me not being able to love myself. And you go through a lot of ups and downs in life, and through those things you go through making the mistakes, because yes, I made plenty of mistakes. I still make mistakes, and but I look at them differently now. So as I go through life, as I'm going through life, I'm not even going to say me. As you go through life and as you go through things, I want you to have the confidence to know that everybody goes through. And not only does everybody goes through, we need to know that, yes, we need to know that when we go through, it's also going to pass. I think about people that are cutting themselves, are abusing themselves because they just hate themselves so much because they're not sure who they are. They have allowed people to put on them how they feel that they should be. What do I mean by that? They have allowed people to speak into their lives and say, "You're nothing. You're never be anything. You're some what's that thing they say where you're not even good for society." And in this day and age, people need to know without a shadow of a doubt who they are. So when you look in the mirror, I don't want you to see your mistakes and failures. I don't want you to look in the mirror and say, "Oh, I'm old." I was at when I was at the hairdressers, the salon, and I was telling the guys that, man, I look old since um, I've gone through, the sickness. And he was like, "You don't look old. You look like you've been through something, but you don't look old." So I had to reevaluate how I was looking at myself and how I saw myself, because I was starting to get down because of what I seen after my sickness. So when I look in the mirror, I'm first of all, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have eyes to see. I can look in the mirror and see this beautiful creation that the Father has created. And because of his love and his grace for me, I'm able to overcome differently. And once you understand the creator, the one that has created you, and you understand what he has done for you, you begin to look at life differently. You're not so willingness to check out. You're not so willingness. One of the, let me say this before I start talking about Leslie's lessons learned. One of the lessons I learned. We always say every Sunday, life without me is like a world without color. Can you say that with me? A life without you is like a world without color. You have to live. You have to declare the works of the Lord. You have to be willing to go beyond what you feel and beyond what you think that somebody else has created this thing in your head that what they say is what you are. No, you're what Yahweh said you are. You are beautiful. You are um, a person that is lively, that has life. It has life more abundantly. If you don't have abundant life, I promise you that the Creator created you that way to have abundant life. He created you, but you got to want it. You can't sit around um, or feel sorry for yourself because you made a mistake. Mistakes will always happen. And I have to honestly say that the person that had helped me through that um, a lot was Alicia Johnson. Alicia Johnson would make a mistake. She's like, oh, well, we'll fix it. Ain't no big deal. And it made me think about it. And I was like, yeah, a mistake is just what it is. It's a mistake. A mistake can be fixed. So, whatever mistake you made, if you take it to Yahweh, it can be fixed. I don't want you abusing yourself. I don't want you feeling like you're less than a person. I don't want you thinking that you have nothing to offer. Can I tell you that I have been taunted with that all my life, that I have nothing to offer, that everybody else has more than I have? Or when I hear people talk, I always feel, man, I wish I could talk like that. I wish I had that, the knowledge that they have, not realizing that the peace that I offer is the piece that's needed. They might offer one piece, and I might offer another piece that makes it a whole. My grandson has the little bottles of water, and he says to me, "That's a whole." I said, "No, but if you take this one, you take this one, and put it together, you have a whole." We have to begin to allow ourselves to be whole. We have to begin to allow ourselves to understand that there is wholeness within us. When the Father created us, He created us whole. He created us with everything we need within us. And we have allowed society, we have allowed people, family members, friends to dictate to us who we were. You can't allow anybody to dictate to you who you are. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt that you are who you were created to be. What does that look like? That looks like a life of peace, a life of joy. Now, let's talk about joy for a minute, but finding confidence within yourself once you love yourself. And I don't have it directly correct. But we have to start with love. When you look in the mirror and you don't see yourself in grace, it's because you don't love yourself. You don't think that it's possible for you to be in a place that you can have love, that you can love yourself through what you're going through. We beat ourselves up too much. We beat ourselves up so much because of how people see us, because of what we think people think of us. And it's time for us to stop. Let me try to do this real quick while I'm trying to talk. We have to understand that life is worth living. So, what does that look like? Life worth living means that even in the midst of what you're going through, and there's things that will come that will hinder you. And one thing I learned about hindrance, one thing I learned is that hindrance only comes, obstacles only come, um, disappointment only comes to see what you're made of. Why do I say that? Because if you allow those things to shape you, if you allow those things to make you feel that you're less than a person, or make you feel like, wow, I don't have what it takes, I'm not who Yahweh says I am, you'll always be beating yourself up. And what happens? You begin to transform yourself into what you think instead of what you are. What are you? You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Who are you? You are a child of the King. What has He created you for? He created you with purpose to come on this earth and to live in with a purpose. That the world tells you to live today on purpose. Every day we should live on purpose. Every day, He tells us that He has put in the day what we already need. Only thing we need to do is walk in confidence and know that that purpose that He put within us, to purpose, the purpose to survive, is not just to survive, the purpose to build the kingdom. He gave us the purpose, He gave us what we need to build the kingdom. So we have to get outside of ourselves. But in order to do that, we have to learn how to learn what's in us. We have to learn how to love ourselves. We can be depleted by being so concerned about what somebody thinks about us, about how somebody feels about us. And in the process of it, we never get through to where Yahweh wants us to be, because we spend our lives beating ourselves up. We spend our lives thinking that we have nothing to offer society. And that's a trick of the enemy. Long as you stay in that place, he's happy, because as long as you stay that place, your voice doesn't get heard, and you're not the one that he he has created you to be, because you're stepping back, you're allowing your life situations to conquer who you are. We're more than a conqueror. We come that we might have life, and we might have life more abundantly. What does abundant life looks like? Abundant life looks like someone that is living in the aspects of Yahweh, living in who He created you to be. Um, we all have low times. We all have low places. When you read some of the stories in the Bible, let's take David, for instance. David had low places. David had broken places, but he always brought it to Yahweh. And when you look at his word, most times, every time he finished, he always backtracks and comes back to Yahweh, giving Him thanks, giving Him honor. It's like he woke up and said, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm focusing on the wrong thing. Let's take Paul. Paul said, I've come to you 3 times and you haven't done anything about what I'm going through. And the Father said, my grace is sufficient for you. So it's not what you're going through, it's the grace to help you come through what you're going through. Paul said, nevertheless, good morning, sister. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Sister Michelle and Sister Dana and Pastor Daphne. Thank you so much for being here. Sister Linda, thank you so much for being here. Sister Michelle, thank you so much for being here this morning. And yes, we're going to continue on. We're not going to allow the enemy, and thank you, Sister Doreen. We have London in the house. Thank you so much. We have the US in the house, and I appreciate everybody being here today. We're just talking about loving yourself, and we're that's when real confidence stepped in. Do you know, I was thinking about this and I said, do you know you can have confidence in what you do, but not in yourself? You can love what you do and never love yourself. So, how do we match the two? How do we not just, that's why you have people that get into their work and they're like alcoholics. They're like, when I say alcoholics, they're alcoholics when it comes to their job. They just relentless at their jobs. That's because they put themselves into it because there's an emptiness within themselves. Is it okay to love your job? Yes. Is it okay to to it's not okay to work like an alcoholic. That's not okay. That's not wisdom. But to love your job, yes, but to love your job and yourself is two different things. So let's begin to see how we can love ourselves. What I like about Paul, let me turn to it real quick. You know, when I think about so many things, I thought about, what does my kingdom consist of? What do I have to do to adorn myself for when the Father he sends his son back to get me? What do I have to do? I first have to learn how to love myself. I first have to learn how to come into a place where I'm in agreement with who He created me to be. Are you in agreement with what He's created you to be? Have you come into agreement that who you are is good enough? You are enough. You Nobody else can make you, they can enhance you. But who you've been assigned to be, who you've been called to be, that takes you bringing yourself into the place of becoming confident in who you are. Paul said, and let me turn to it while I'm talking. When he was saying, he said, I keep coming to you. Uh, David said, I keep coming to you, and you haven't defeated my enemy yet. And then he remembers it's not about the enemy, but it's about him and what he's been called to do. How many of us think that we're good enough to do what the Father has called you to do? How many of you think that the purpose that's within you will cause you to be more than what you think you are? It's not about what you think. It's not about that at all. It's about what Yahweh thinks about you, and He has uh, um, come. What's the word I want to use? He's so intentional about your life that if you never understand how intentional he is or what he has created you to do, he'll never get the full benefits out of you. So, don't look in the mirror anymore and say, I'm worthless. Don't look in the mirror anymore and say, I'm not beautiful. Don't look in the mirror anymore and say, I'm hope. There's no hope. There is hope. There is so much within you that the Father wants to bring out of you. Let me tell you what happens when we're in that space. When we're in that space, we can't see who the Father created us to be. We can't see it. We don't know who the Father has caused us to be. We have no idea because we're trapped. And my sister wrote a book, and the book is called, let me make sure I get it right, Burn the Ashes, and no, Burn the Box and Surrender the Ashes. Do you know a lot of us will come out the box, push the box aside, but never surrender? Never surrender to Yahweh, those things that had you bound. Never surrender to Yahweh, those things that you're giving up. You come outside the box. And when you come outside the box, what do you do? Do you see the purpose for coming outside the box? Or are you just coming outside the box because you're tired of being in the box? You can't just come out because you're tired of being in the box. You got to come out and look and search for your purpose. Understand that there's purpose, and your purpose is outside of the box. When you're in a box, that box causes you to be um, contained. It causes you to be, what's the word, constrained. It causes you to be in a place where you can't move too much unless you got this gigantic box and you've created in this gigantic box your whole life. So you can go from room to room in this box, but never look on the outside to see, is there anything else besides what's in this box? That might be something we need to talk about one day. Is there anything else besides what's in this box? It's time for us to come into agreement with ourselves, come into agreement with the Father. So many of us will go to church and we'll shout, we'll dance, and then when we come out, we're still broken, we're still hurt. So many of us will do the work of the Father, but never get healing while you're healing other people. So many of us is in a place, and some people call it a predicament. A predicament. Maybe there's a predicament in your life that's causing you to be uh, trapped because you don't think that you have a purpose, or you don't think you become intimidated by what you went through. And when you become intimidated by what you went through, it causes you not to do what you've been called to do. Before I go to Paul, Romans 8 and 1 says, there is therefore no condemnation to them that are in Yeshua HaMashiach, some called Jesus Christ, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. Hallelujah. Are you willing to come and not walk after the flesh, not walk in the flesh, but walk in the Spirit? Walk in, he said, they that worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth. We must worship him. We must worship him through the word, understanding the word, living it out. When you live in condemnation, you're not living out the truth of the word. That's why the word says there is now. I want to say today, May 18, 2025 at 9:25 a.m., there is now no condemnation. Don't live in condemnation. Don't live in that brokenness. Don't live in that place that keeps you stuck. Come out of that place and understand that there's a more purposeful place for you. The Father loves you so much that what He wants you to obtain is on the outside of that box you build, that you put yourself in, that you allowed yourself to live in because you don't think enough of yourself. I want you to begin to love yourself. I want you to begin to love yourself unconditionally. The Father says He loves us unconditionally. Do we make mistakes? Yes, we do. Do we have to live with some of those mistakes? We have to live with them because it's a part of our story and our journey, but it's not a part of your life where you stay condemned or always beating yourself up and always accusing yourself. The enemy is the accuser of the brethren. Stop accusing yourself. Stop thinking that you're nobody. Stop thinking that you can't love yourself. When you look in the mirror and you look in the mirror and you become sad and broken because of what you think of yourself, because of what you have shaped or created. You created your own place, your own being. I'm going to say you created this facade that says I'm nothing. This facade that says, man, I can't do it like they do it. You're not supposed to. We're not supposed to. That facade that says I'll never be anything. That facade that says that person is so much greater than I am. That facade that says that I can't go in that room because I don't belong there. If God has made a room for you in that room, it's because you belong there. Stop downplaying who you are because you have been created and you have been designed by the best, the Father. And when the Father designed us, when He designed Adam, He said, it is good. Whew. And that's what He says about you. You've got to love yourself and know that the Creator, that look, He said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness. Love was a part of that image. So when He created us with love for ourselves. I hear people say, I'm gonna be selfish about myself. Well, let's be selfish enough to 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 understand that who He created us to be is what we need to be. What do I mean by that? Let's walk it out. Let's let our lifestyle, it says, so let the light that's within us so shine that other men might see and glorify the Father. People are looking for love. People are searching for love. And if you don't love yourself, if you don't understand how to love yourself, you're limited in the love you give to somebody else. So I want to encourage you today to love yourself. I want you to encourage you today to let you understand that it's okay to love yourself first. If you don't love yourself first, you cannot fully love anybody else, and you can't fully demonstrate the love of the Father. Why? Because you're too busy looking at what you're not. You're too busy looking at, uh, or should I say, operating in your emotions. When we think those things, it's because we're emotionally operating in what we think we are, not what Yahweh says we are. So, what do? Loving yourself. That means you got to come from the place of depression. There's two kinds of loneliness. There's a loneliness that you long for more of the Father. And there's a loneliness that people usually get trapped in. And when they get trapped in that loneliness, there's a void because they feel like no one. You could be in a room with 1,000 of people and still feel like you're lonely. That's a different kind of loneliness. And do you know that people have taken their lives because they felt like they was lonely. People have taken their lives because they felt like nobody cared about them. People have taken their lives because they felt like there is an there's that they have nothing to offer people. I've heard people say it's better if I'm not here. It's if you're not supposed to be here, Yahweh, which a lot of people call God, will take you out of here. That's his job, not yours. And we get so caught up and consumed by how we feel, consumed by what we think, that we allow the enemy to trap us in thinking that we are not good enough to serve Yahweh's kingdom on earth. Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Um, you know, we have a responsibility to serve the Father wholeheartedly. We have a responsibility to understand what that looks like. We have a responsibility to find out what he means by that, what he meant by bringing us here. What did he bring us here for? He didn't bring us here so that we can live in the lowly bar. We can talk about lowly bar. I was reading about David and looking for um, someone in Solomon's kingdom, um, that he could honor, and he went and got and I can't think of lost my thought. Uh, his friend, his dear friend, he went and got his son, and he brought him to the kingdom, and he treated him with respect. He treated him with honor. He honored him for what he was. I'm not talking about lowly bar. When I think of lowly bar, and we know that that was a place for people that had dysfunctions. But even if we think about when I think it's Elijah, and he goes to the valley, and the father says, "Can these bones live?" And he's like, "Thou knowest, I don't know, you know." And when you begin to do the research, uh, um, they were people that were despaired. They were lost. If you think about it, even in that chapter, it says that Elohim is like, well, there one? Is there one? And that's what I'm going to say to you. Is there one? Are you the one? Have you been called? Have you been not just chosen, but all of us have been called to do a work? Is there one to bring my people out? We are in a time where right now, with the way, and this is in America, I don't know about anywhere else, that people are despaired, people are depressed, people are hopeless, people are literally dying because of the pain of their hearts, because of what they fear is going to happen. Fear is a powerful thing. Fear could either break you or fear can make you. There's bad fear, there's good fear. But most people are living in the bad fear, fear that they have no confidence, not only in themselves, but in what's going to happen. And do you know we have a lot of people that's within the church realm that is living like that? They have so much of a fear that they're afraid of life and life situations right now, and how, yes, Jonathan, thank you, and how things are going to turn out. And I always say this one thing that David said: I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor their seed begging for bread. You might not have everything you want at the moment, but He has never left you and He has never forsaken you. And He won't. It's a promise to you that serve him. Yeah, there's stipulations. His promises to those who choose to serve him. His promises to those who choose to trust him. Yeah. Is there a shaking in the world going on right now? Yeah. Is there a shaking in America that's going on right now? Yes, it is. But the Father will take care of you. He says in his word, I load you daily with benefits. New mercies every morning. Does that sound like someone that's forgotten about you? Does that sound like someone that doesn't care about you? Does that sound like someone that doesn't know what's going on right now? Does that sound like somebody that didn't know that we would be in that place? What it sounds like, excuse me, is what it says is what he says is that I got you. I got you. What he says is stay in me. When you stay in me, I got you. Nothing that comes up against us that he can't bring us out of. Things come sometime to wake us up. Things come sometimes to put us in a place where we're searching, and we're not just searching, but our eyes is back on him. One of the things, and you'll always hear me talk about Moses which is Moshe, and the Israelites and them coming out, and how he always provided for them, even though they was rebellious, even though they didn't always listen because of the promise that he made to their forefathers. He's going to take care of us. Why? We are his children. Please understand that Elohim did not create you to just drop you. And he didn't just drop you down and say, okay, live life. No, he never brings us through anything without giving us instructions. He leads us. And when he leads us, it's where we get the instruction. So some of us need to light our pilot. You know how when the wind blows a certain way, sometimes it'll blow out a pilot and your heat goes off and you got to go back and I don't know, I don't think the new heaters so much as the old. You got to go back and light that pilot. Let's revisit lighting that pilot, that we can, our light can shine brightly. He says that a candle, you can't be a light and your situation or how you feel about yourself is dimming the light. You got to come from out of where you are and understand that Kirk Franklin sings a song about a brighter day. Yeah, there is a brighter day, and there is a way of escape for you. You cannot allow what you're going through to make you feel like there's nothing left for you. Yes, life is full of pain, hurt, disappointment, but it doesn't have to end that way. We're going to always experience things. We're going to always be in a where we feel trapped, and the only way we can come out of that trap is to look up, to press through, to get into the word. There's life in the word. I wish above all that you prosper, be in good health, even as your soul prospers. He wants your entire being to prosper, not just financially. Yeah, we get financial blessings, but it has to start within first. You got to prosper within, and the only way you can prosper within is through the word. You got to understand that your father, his arms is open wide with joy, peace, and love. And guess what? It's free to those that accept it. You don't have to pay a price. The only thing you need to do is turn it over to the Father and ask Him to lead and guide you into the truth. You know, Yahweh said, not Yahweh, Yeshua said, I gotta go. He said, I was here and y'all didn't even really believe in me, but I gotta go. I gotta go because there's one coming, a gift. Now, Yeshua was a gift. He, um, Adonai was a gift, um, which is the word. Um, Ruach is a gift. And he said that he will come and that when he comes, that he will lead us and guide us. Holy Spirit, Ruach HaKodesh, lead us and guide us into the truth, not only who we are, but the truth of the word. I promise you, the word will give you life. I promise you that when you position yourself, sit down, be still, study the word, and I promise you, you'll find joy. The joy of Adonai, the joy of the word is your strength. There's liberty for each and every one of us if we choose to have it, if we want it for ourselves. So your future is bright if you want it to be. Don't get caught up what you don't have, what you don't know, what you don't think. But get yourself and begin to adorn yourself with the word. And when you, yes, thank you, Michelle. When you adorn yourself with the word, you begin to uh, 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 put on the armor. And one day we'll talk about the armor of salvation. Your mind, free your mind, free your mind, free your mind of doubt, free your mind of disappointments. They're gonna happen. Those things are gonna happen. But it's not what happens; it's what you do with what happens in that moment. Yes, and I forgot to say that. I don't even have it on. Please hit the like sign, subscribe, and share. Thank you, Michelle, for that. But yeah, the Father, we know He said, for I so loved the world that I gave my only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in me shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Daphne put up John 15:9. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. And His love is what causes you to love yourself. It's in Him that we move and breathe and have our being, but the love has to connect to something. And we're so used to trying to connect love to people and not Yahweh. We got to connect our love with His love. And then out of that comes a beautiful display of who you really are. Who are you in covenant with? Who are you looking for to love you? Who, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this as a woman, that a lot of times, and most times, we look for love from a man. There's nothing wrong with that when it's right. And then we end up with a lot of, and men too, not just women, men too. We end up disappointed because they didn't give us what we felt we deserved or what we were looking for. We end up in a unhappy relationship, something that needs to be talked about because we chose this person, because we settled, because we just didn't want to be by ourselves. We do that a lot, men and women. And in those conditions comes unhappiness. You become sad. You get put yourself in a place where you're hopeless because you chose something over the Father. No one should come before the Father in his love for you. That's why he sent his son. He said, because I love you. He brought the Israelites out of Egypt because he loved them. David said he realized Yahweh is my shepherd, I shall not want. He's the one that maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He's the one that restoreth my soul. He's the one that leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? He's resting in the Father. He's convinced that whatever he goes through, he can make it with the Father. The Father, David said, man, he put me in a peaceful place. He put me in a place that I could never have put myself in. He's even said that he'll spread a table put a table before me in the presence of my enemy, even though they're all around me and they're trying to bring me down and they're trying to make me think I'm less than a person. I can find rest. And he says, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Hallelujah. And that's a whole nother thing, thy rod and thy staff, and what they do and how they protect you and how they steer you and how they guide you and how they keep you from falling off the cliff and how they keep you from the enemy and how because you're in the safety of the Father. So when you're in the safety of the Father, he will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemy. He will anoint your head with oil. And when you ever do a study about a sheep, and when sheep they anoint their heads with oil to moisture that fur and that skin. And David's like, he anoints my head with oil. He brings me into a place of renewal, or should I say, refreshment. He refreshes me, he restores me, he brings me to a place where I can live a more abundant life. That it says, I shall not die, but live and declare the word. How can you declare something you don't know? You got to know who he is in order to declare him. Declare the works of the Lord. Declare who he is. Declare his liberty. He says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord. When I come into my Sabbath, and sometimes I don't feel all that great about myself, but he is there, and surely his goodness and mercy shall be take me over. His peace shall rest in me. His love shall overtake me. And in his love I can find my shalom. And in his peace, I can find rest. because he loves me just that much. And I didn't forget about Peter, I mean, Paul. And in the second Corinthians, the 12th chapter, and I'm just going to read this, just a small version of it. And it says, um, starting at verse 9, and he said unto me, well, I need to start up further. Let me see. Okay, I would have to read the whole thing, but let me start with right here. So, Paul is talking about this thorn in his side. And Paul had gone through an experience. He said, whether he was in the body, out of the body, he's talking about a in a body, out of the body experience. And he talks about he got caught up in paradise. But then he goes on to say, he talks about um, verse 6. He says, for though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But now I forbid least any man should think of me above that which has seen he seeth me to be, or that he heareth me. So he's having a conversation with the Father, and he's talking about exalted above measures, and it talks about the abundance. He talks about these things, and he says, for this thing I besought thee, Lord, which is Yah, I mean Adonai. He says three times, and it says thrice, that I might depart from it, so that I can get over it, and then this is what what Yeshua, it says Yeshua said to him. And it says, but we know Adonai, but it says, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. In your low place, he says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. We can see the evidence of the Father in our weak and lowly states when we come to Him. But I like this part, and I'm just kind of just breezing through this. Possible probably choke my head, have my head for the way I'm doing this. But it says, Paul says, more gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of, it says, Christ, the Messiah, might rest upon me. So, in other words, I'm not going to glory. I'm not, this infirmity, this thing I'm going through, I'm not going to allow it to overtake me anymore. I'd rather I'd rather be in a place with you. And then it says, therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities and in reproach and necessities, in persecution and distress, for Messiah's sake, for it says, for Christ's sake, for Messiah's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Paul began to see things differently. He no longer allowed those things to consume him. He put himself in a place that he could begin to glorify the Father. He was like, forget that. And I promise you, you don't hear him talk about it anymore, because he took his mind and his eyes off of what he was going through, what was agitating him, what was keeping him frustrated, because he had to be frustrated, because he came to the Father and said, I've I've come to you about this situation 3 times and nothing has happened. He was irritated, aggravated by what he was going through. He couldn't see the forest for the, or what is it? Couldn't see past the forest. I can't think of that saying, but he couldn't see through the forest. He couldn't see through what he was going through. He couldn't see through his disappointment. He couldn't see through his agitation, whatever was agitating him. That's the only thing he had his mind on. And he began to see that there was a greater move when he released those things, because the Father told him, look, my grace is sufficient for you. And can I tell you today, as we're closing out, his grace is sufficient for you, and that for that my strength is made perfect in your weakness. What are you going through that you need to allow the Father to enhance what you're going through, to bring you out? Paul said, more gladly therefore will I rather glory in my infirmity. In other words, you know, that's not going to be his issue. That the power, he's going to allow the power of the Messiah, the power, and I'm going to say right here, Adonai, the word, to might rest upon him. He's going to allow the Father to work in him, no matter the situation, no matter what he's coming through, that he can get a better outcome than what he was seeing. He was just seeing the negative. He was just seeing the woe is me. How many of us live in the woe is me? Am I saying you don't go through? No, I'm saying you go through, but you got to come out. Don't stay there. Do I say we don't walk? Yeah, we wallow and stuff, but come out. And the only way that you're going to come out successfully is to get into Yahweh, get into his word, and allow his word to consume you. Allow his word to bring you to a place that you can have life and have it more abundantly. So as you go through today, I don't want you to have confidence in what you do. I want you to have confidence in yourself. And what does that look like? That looks like you're not depending on what you see. And I don't even know if that's the right word, what you see. You're not depending on what you feel. You're depending on what Yahweh says, that who you are and what you're supposed to be. So, in order being in a place of thinking that you're nobody, being in a place thinking that you're you're thinking that you have nothing to be thankful for. You have nothing to think that you're just as good as someone else. Stop thinking that other people are better than you. Stop thinking that you're not an overcomer. You are an overcomer. You are victorious. You have a way of escape. And the way of escape is through the Father. The Father chooses for you to live an abundant life. His choice for you is to be peaceful, to be happy in Him, to be happy in His Word, to be happy in your covenant with Him. Someone was talking about just going, you can't just go to church. You can't just sing on the choir. You can't just usher. You have to be in a place where you can not just survive, but thrive. And the only way you can truly thrive is through the word. So finding confidence within yourself to love, to love yourself. The confidence that you are enough, and what's inside of you begin to cherish. People talk about all the time self-care. How about we start self-care with loving, with having a relationship with the Father, allowing Him to lead and guide us. I promise everywhere in the Word where you see He gives a way, makes a way. He doesn't make a way without instructions. He'll give you instructions. He'll show you how to make it. He'll show you how to come out. He is a deliverer. He, his word, what's that scripture? I said it the other day. Um, his plan for you is more than your plan is for you. Um, so as we end today, I want you to know Philippians 8 and in Philippians 4 and 8, finally, my brother, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just. Oh man, this thing popping up, stuff popping up. Whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. I want you to have a different perspective on life, on yourself, and what it means to have a relationship with Yahweh. Your relationship with Yahweh is where you find how to love yourself. So when you look in that mirror from now on, you'll look in and you won't see the negative. You'll begin to see what He created you to be. For 30 days, just look in the mirror, take 5 minutes, and just say, I love myself, and watch the outcome. You will be more vibrant. You'll be more, have more confidence. You'll have more, you'll have a different outlook on yourself. So when you look in the mirror, say, I love myself, because the Father loves you. And His love is not conditional where He only loves you when you love yourself. He loves you at all times. So no matter what you went through, don't be sitting back saying, "Oh my, the Father doesn't love me because of what I've done or what I've gone through." He said He never changes. He says, "I am the same yesterday, today, forevermore." He loves you right where you are. He'll love you so much that He'll cause you to come out of where you are if you allow Him. Finding confidence within yourself that causes you the confidence that, and I say I got it worded wrong, but the confidence that's within you should be the confidence that will cause you to love yourself enough to know that the same Yahweh that made you is the same Yahweh that'll bring you out. When you begin to love yourself, you'll begin to see yourself different. You'll begin to operate different, and you'll begin to move different. So as you go about your day today, begin to move out of that place of brokenness. Begin to move out of that place, nobody loves me. Begin to move out of that place where I'm not good enough. Begin to move out of that place that everybody else is better than me. Begin to move from those negative thoughts and having the negative attitude that causes you not to function. Begin to think on these things, those things that are joyful, happy, peaceful, that cause your mind to regulate, that causes you to embrace yourself. And that's what we want you to do. Embrace who you are and be the best version of you that you can be. Why? He wants you to be. Be all that He's called you to be. Do all that He's called you to do, that you can have all that He has for you to have. Live your best life on purpose. Shalom. I love you. Until we meet again, have a peaceful week. Thank you for being here.